the adult Pokemon anime of your dreams. What would it look like? Hey everyone, it's Charles. How are you today? As you may know, I love the Pokemon anime. It's fun, it's inspiring, and despite the all-ages trappings, it's capable of hitting hard on the bitters of life in ways that perhaps only something so innocent and lighthearted is capable of. But with the age of the average Pokemon fan increasing year after year, it seems like a no-brainer to create a side series that hits like Generations or Twilight Wings, but on a bigger scale, an anime that would truly appeal to mature viewers. That is to say, an adult Pokemon anime side series. No, adult stories does not mean stories that simply lean on gore and off-brand antics and little else. Rather, we are talking about mature stories built on complex, dynamic characters who are moving along story arcs that carry real weight and consequence. Something that could actually be made into an official side series. Fan manga series like Festival of Champions have given us a taste of the possibilities, and an anime that shifts away from the Saturday cartoon vibes of the main series to a tense, story-driven narrative in which the backstories are riveting and the tournament stakes are truly high could be truly incredible. So today's plan is to provide a basic breakdown of what a series might look like, and as always it is going to be a fun time. But before we jump into this chat for adults, I'd like to shout out today's sponsor, a provider of tasty beverages for adults, Tipsy Sake. To all the adult viewers out there who enjoy tasty adult beverages, I love Tipsy Sake, and I'm sure you will as well. Tipsy Sake brings 400 awesome sake brands from Japan to the world, with recommended food pairings and serving temperatures for every product. Shadow Shadow viewers can get 10% off of all products from Tipsy over at www.tipsysake.com with the code CHADUSHADU. And if you are a big sake fan like me, then you can join the Tipsy Sake Club. You receive a special curated box of sake every 3 months, with each box containing 6 10-ounce bottles of sake, along with sake tasting cards, for learning and deepening your sake experience. Club members will also receive perks, such as virtual taste testing videos for each featured sake, a beginner's guide booklet, the Tipsy Tribune newsletter, unlimited free shipping for regular orders, membership pricing, and exclusive Kampai events. It's quite a fun package if I do say so myself, so be sure to use my code CHADUSHADU for that sweet discount. Have fun, and be sure to stick around to the end of the video for a special bonus chat over some sushi and sake, in which we will crack open a bottle of Misato Katsuragi's favorite sake in the Neon Genesis Evangelion anime series, courtesy of Tipsy Sake, and read out one awesome idea pitched by a viewer. And with that, it is time to dig into the concept for an adult story set in our favorite universe. As suggested earlier, if I were to make a Pokemon anime geared towards adults, I would focus on 1. Creating a dynamic rather than static protagonist with a compelling source of motivation, and 2. An exciting plot driven by high stakes and tense developments. So let's quickly run through my idea for a main character, his motivation, and roughly speaking how the story might unfold, featuring some art produced in a jiffy by the Weiwei. P.S. Be sure to drop a comment with your own cool ideas, because I'd love to see them. Firstly, let us consider the protagonist of the main anime series itself. Ash Ketchum is a relatively static, unaging character who embodies a set of ideals worth aspiring to, working hard to be the very best you can be, never giving up till it's over, and taking care of the people around you while you're at it. He's a timeless, iconic character in his own right, and I absolutely love the guy. But when I think of A-grade storytelling in universes wherein time flows normally, it's dynamic characters like Frodo and Eren Yeager that come to mind, characters for whom the stakes are high, and who transform in drastic ways over the course of their adventures. And I think that this sort of character, a reluctant hero who at times walks in the gray zone, would be just right at the core of a mature Pokemon anime. In short, the main character is a young man who runs a moo milk farm next to a small seaside town on the outskirts of a yet unknown region across the sea from Kanto, together with his little sister and one ranch hand. And although he shares a strong bond with the powerful Arcanine who has protected the ranch since before he was born, and his pet Feebas, the main character has no interest in Pokemon battles. In fact, he sees them as little more than barbaric dogfights that belong underground rather than in crowded stadiums. Then again, perhaps it was simply the fact that his father abandoned his wife and 2 children years ago in the pursuit of Indigo League glory and never returned that soured his notion of battles. Either way, shortly after his father left, the main character's mother passed away, leaving him to take over the farm when he was just barely a teenager, with little time left over to think about his own dreams, whatever they may be. Or perhaps he was living the dream, as despite the tragic backstory, the main character truly loves his work at the farm, from taking care of his mill tanks and support Pokemon, to spending time with his little sister and the ranch hand, to being in nature for the better part of the day every single day. In particular, he and his sister were very, very close, and with no living relatives in the region to take care of her should he leave the ranch, he had no interest in abandoning the good life or abandoning those who depended on him for little more than a wild ambition as his father had done so long ago. Life at the farm was tough, but life was good. However, one day when returning from selling milk in town late at night, the main character is cursed by a very unusual Gengar on the road. A Gengar with its own story to tell, who vanishes immediately after casting the curse. And as the village witch Agatha, a strange old woman who had come to their town from across the sea several years ago, would explain to him when he visits her for guidance, the curse was a serious one. In fact, he had been cursed to die 666 days from the time the spell had been cast. In other words, when the calendar counter hits 0, Gengar will return to steal his life. The main character is devastated and desperate to find a way to undo the curse, as is his sister. The two of them become obsessed with the search for the remedy, leaving the Moo Moo farm in the hands of the ranch hand and traveling the region far and wide to find a cure, only to come up with nothing. Until one day, about 3 months later, when they bump into a traveling Pokemon trainer at an inn in a nearby town, who tells them the tale of a legendary champion of champions known as Red, a champion whose abilities eclipse those of all other regional champions, who disappeared on a journey 10 years ago and has just reappeared to announce to the world a tournament of champions to be held atop Mount Silver in the Johto region following the conclusion of the upcoming year's regional league conferences. The conditions: only conference winners will be eligible to participate. The prize: a match against Red, with the promise that if the challenger wins, a mythical Pokemon under Red's ownership will grant them one wish. One wish. With no other options apparent to him, the main character had to wonder, could such a wish undo his curse? Admittedly, it was a wild shot, but with just a year and a half left on the clock, at least he finally had a hopeful target to shoot for. And with that, he set out on an adventure to qualify for the Indigo League in the neighboring region of Kanto, since there was no league in his home region, and his sister embarked to Johto to double their odds of qualifying for the league conferences by completing the gym challenges, of winning at least one of the 2 league conferences to earn a battle with Red, of defeating Red, and of claiming a wish to break the curse of death. The whole idea behind this main character is that he is a reluctant hero driven into action out of desperation. Desperation to save his own life and return to the good life at his ranch, who is forced onto the battle track alongside his sister, who is also desperate to save the brother who always took care of her. Of course, there will be other trainers looking to win the league and win a wish from Red, each with their own powerful reasons for pursuing the wish, injecting intensity and real consequence into the struggles of every character in the tournament. Rather than the "if you lose, you can just try again" scenario of the anime, which has a good message tied to it in its own right, the trainers competing in the league in this story have only one shot to get things right, with life, death, and perhaps even more on the line. And instead of drawing the characters' struggles along black and white lines, I'd like the main character as well as the other characters to feel conflicted about whether or not their wish is worth more than the wishes of others. Furthermore, I don't want any meatless battles wherein we learn nothing interesting about these other characters. Instead, I want a setup similar to that of Demon Slayer, Bartender, or even Festival of Champions, wherein every significant character has a compelling story to tell. Likewise, as the main character progresses through the gyms, he would have to solve problems and unravel mysteries in order to earn matches with gym leaders who are preoccupied with their own issues. Characters similar to Norman in Pokemon Adventures, who had fish to fry a little bit bigger than his responsibilities as a gym leader, and a guy who did some pretty crazy stuff. And with only 1.5 years left to qualify for and win Red's tournament, both the main character and his sister would barely have enough time to train up their teams, clear the gym challenges in their respective target regions, and take a crack at the league conferences, in order to win their way into Red's Champions Tournament. And in this world, trainers who lose a gym battle must wait at least 1 month for a rematch, meaning that the main character's life would be hinged on the outcome of every sanctioned battle, with almost no margin for error. It's a bit of a different take on the classic formula that still adheres to the essence of that classic formula, and honestly, this is still a pretty rough concept, but I wanted to put something together, and I'm really curious what you think about it. And how about you? What does the adult Pokemon anime of your dreams look like? Drop us a comment. Thanks for staying with us this deep into the video, and as promised, here's a short bonus segment featuring one viewer-submitted idea discussed over some sushi and drinks courtesy of Tipsy Sake. Okie dokie, as promised, we have picked up some sushi, and we have a bottle of sake provided by Tipsy Sake. So let's have a little feast while we read off not just one, but a handful of ideas that were submitted. And thanks again to Tipsy Sake for sponsoring this video. Here's one from Galarian Guy, a Pokemon horror series centered around the fabled 152nd Pokemon missing number. That is spooky, I love it. And the idea honestly gives off some serious Digimon vibes. Here's another one from Christopher James. Something that follows up on and focuses on adult relationships in the Pokemon world. Maybe like following around a Pokemart worker who had failed dreams of being a trainer coming to better appreciate their position. I like that idea, Christopher, and if you are interested in the lives of Pokemart workers, then perhaps you'd enjoy the book Konbini Ningen, or Convenience Store Woman, which follows the life of a woman who works at a convenience store in Japan. I read that a couple years ago and it was pretty interesting. This one is from Dawn Pokemon Trainer. My suggestion, Pokemon Rescue and Recovery for teens or adults. Yet, it could be kid-friendly. It would highlight the darker side of Team Rocket's nefarious business while following a group of trainers, professors, and nurses who travel the world to free captured or protect endangered Pokemon. It would also include the importance of the Pokemon/human relationship/bond. Story arcs, more adult themes, discovering many Team Rocket trainers are actually good, working to protect Pokemon on the inside of the organization, and healthy romantic stories could be subtly in the background. Each episode would have a happy, for now, ending. Alright everyone, I'm putting a couple other ideas that I liked up on screen here if you want to read through them. Thanks again so much for your submissions, for sticking around for the video, and thanks again to Tipsy Sake for sponsoring this video. And with that said, as always, let's chat.